Welcome back to the Tom Ferry Show. The number one question we get every single day is, Tom, what is working now that is low to no cost that's going to win me listings? If you're asking yourself that question, you're going to love today's show. Welcome to the Tom Ferry Show. Hey, welcome back to the Tom Ferry Show. Super excited to share with you a series of one campaign, a series of different assets you can use low to no cost that is absolutely going to generate you listings immediately. To help me do it, my co-founder, my partner at listingleads.com, once again, Jimmy Mackin. Jimmy, we've got 3 letters, we've got a postcard, we got a video, and more assets that you can rip off and duplicate immediately and start attracting your next listing. Jimmy, maybe back up and give people context for what this campaign is, what it's all about, who are they going to use it on, and then let's show them the assets and let's get my friend watching right now to work getting more listings.
I think people right now, Tom, who are watching this likely have a buyer who is qualified, who is motivated, who hasn't found a house to actually purchase. And many of those people who are watching now probably think of that as a liability. They're logging into the MLS every single day saying, hey, is there a new property that fits my buyer criteria? What really smart agents are doing is they're taking what is a liability and they are turning it into an asset. And so they're taking these pre-qualified, motivated buyers and they're using it to source off-market listings. This strategy is known as the magic buyer letter strategy. And so what Tom and I will walk you through today is the different ways in which you can execute this. It doesn't require a big budget. It doesn't take a lot of time. And Tom, I'm telling you right now, this is something that works nearly every time our clients are using it. So to kick it off, let me share my screen. I'll pull up an example of the magic buyer letter, and you guys should be able to see that here in just a moment. So this is our buddy Jeremy Applebaum, fantastic coaching client of Tom Ferry. And one of the things I love about this letter, this is the example of the letter here. He sent this letter, Tom, to less than 200 people, and he got 5 inbound phone calls. He just sent me a DM on Instagram a few days ago saying, Jimmy, not only did I help my client get a home, but I also picked up another listing because of it. And so as we break this down, you'll see he opens up the letter with, hey, our client Molly just missed out on a home in Lido Villas. Her grandkids live nearby. She really wants to be able to walk over to their house. She would love a fenced-in yard. She's a well-qualified buyer with a great lender, and she's super flexible. Her dream closing, 3 to 6 months. If you have even the earliest thoughts of making a move or you know a neighbor who might, give us a call, text us. Here's our phone number. So Tom, right out of the gates, what Jeremy does so well is he gets straight to the point. Yeah. I mean, you can consume this in a matter of seconds. But the second thing, and Tom, you tell me if you agree with this, like this is believable, right? Like this is like when you read this, Tom, what's your instantaneous reaction? Imagine you're a homeowner, you got this letter.
I'm thinking to myself, I saw that listing come on the market. I saw it fast. I've been driving the neighborhood. There's absolutely nothing for sale. The thing that stands out for me is the earliest thoughts about it, right? Mm-hmm. If you've had the earliest thoughts about making a move, then it's like, oh my God, how did they know? We have been thinking about it. I love that because too often we see the magic buyer letter, the I've got a buyer, there's no inventory letter that comes across like with just too much. Let me tell you about me. Let me tell you about what I'm doing. And let me give you the market updates. And you may have noticed this. This is just straight to the point. I'm representing a client. This is who she is. This is what she's trying to accomplish. If you have even the remotest thought, earliest thought of thinking about it, text me. I love it. It's just straight to the point. Such
a great point, Tom. It's if you're waiting for the seller to be ready, it's going to be too late.
Exactly.
You have to go up funnel. Yep. And so our first advice here, this is what we kind of call a cornerstone piece of marketing. Our first advice is if you're an agent watching right now, you, your team, your broker, you have likely a bunch of buyers who you can start doing this off-market marketing to. But we don't want you to stop there. There's a strategy that we coach here on the road at the Roadshow is land and expand. So if something works, now we say, what are other channels we can implement that strategy? So what we'll do is we'll show you an example of the same concept, but by our buddy Jason Cassidy. We'll show you a video and we'll play this so you can hear what he says.
If you're seeing this message, it's on purpose. I have a buyer. Their names are Sean and Amanda, and they're looking for a detached home in the North County coastal area up to $2 million. They're pre-approved and just finishing up the process of selling their place in downtown. They're looking to move in the next 30 to 60 days. We've seen everything on the market, and we just haven't found anything that works. So if this sounds like a match for you, please reach out to me and let me know and see if we can put together something off market.
So Tom, I want to get your reaction. You're on Instagram, you own a house, you see that video, and you're thinking about, you have the earliest thoughts of selling. What's the thought that goes through your mind?
My thought is I'm going to DM that guy if I have the consideration set. Because what do we know, especially with all the commission stuff that's happening right now, the hallucination, we don't know it to be true. The hallucination is that the vast majority of people are going to say, hey, I want to go direct to the listing agent, right? In this case, I want to go direct to the person that has the buyer for my house, right? There's so much that I like about this. I know we're going to show the postcard in a minute, but it's the same thing. It's a localized marketing piece. If you are watching this and you are in this area, I have something for you, right? That is smart marketing.
Let me build on that idea too, Tom, as we talk about this concept, because what I would also do, so we've done the letter, we've done the, let's say, a short form video that we're distributing on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. But then what I'm also doing, and we'll show an example of this as well, is I'm sending an email out to my database saying, I'm about to call around this neighborhood. If I come across any great deals, would you like me to let you know? So again, just to wrap your concept around this idea, it's like if I'm going to circle dial and say, hey, are you thinking about selling? Or did you get my letter? I'm going to email my database first as a way to get a bunch of people to raise their hand. And then now that I got a bunch of people to raise their hand, now as I'm circle dialing around a sale or circle dialing in a farm for my buyer, I'm now using those hand raisers as the reason I'm reaching out. So the example would be this, Tom. Hey, Tom, this is Jimmy calling with ABC Realty. I know that you're not expecting my call. The reason I'm reaching out is because I've got a few buyers who are really interested in your area. They're qualified, they're motivated. This is probably not for you, but if you had the earliest thoughts of selling, like, is it worth having a conversation? And so I'm using the buyers to talk to sellers. So I think it's Tom, you and I both know this. It's marketing, but then let's start doing some sales as well.
Yes. It really gets me thinking. For my friend that's watching right now, by the way, I would love to know in the comments, have you done something like this? We used to call this the yikes campaign. Yikes, right? Like, this property just sold. There was 8 offers. You got one happy new neighbor and you got 7 buyers crying in their soup, desperate to live in your community. That was the yikes campaign from 2010, 2011. The reminder that I have for you though, my friend, is when was the last time you took your entire database, past clients, sphere, friends, people you have no idea who you ever met them at an open house, maybe online leads. When was the last time that you uploaded all of them into Google Maps to get a map to see where you have influence? So the next time you meet a buyer and they're like, I really want to be in this area, we sort of sometimes we forget that we might know 3 or 4 people in that community. And who should you reach out to first? Hey, Jimmy, I was just working with a buyer. They desperately want to live in your community. Do you know anybody in the neighborhood that's considering making a move? Because I've got the buyer ready to go.
The reason I love that, Tom, is because they're going to say, well, it's funny you call, Tom, because I've actually been thinking about, right? So it's a technique if I'm ever trying to hire somebody who's really talented, I don't say, hey, are you looking for a job? I say, hey, who's the smartest person you know who's looking for this type of opportunity? And you're like, oh, actually, in fact, it's funny you reached out. I am. So I love that idea. On that same topic, we'll talk about postcards here in a moment, Tom. One of the things that I love, and we'll have a visual of this to show you here, is so Jason not only did the video, but he also did a postcard. And what the postcard showed is the subject line or the headline was, looking for a home to buy in this exact area. And as you can see on the screen that we'll show you, is that there will be a visual, and he actually took a screenshot of the map and he drew with his finger on the area. And so this is what they call in marketing, Tom, user-generated content. It's very raw, it's very authentic, it's not very polished. And he got his $3.5 million buyer a listing using this tactic. So whether you're doing a letter, whether you're doing an Instagram post, whether you're using the script to your farm, whether you're calling your SOI like Tom mentioned, or you're sending a postcard, This is one campaign that we're now extending to multiple channels. Now, let me leave you with this, Tom, because one of the things that you and I both know is that good markets create bad habits, but bad markets create great agents. And the bad habit that we developed in the past is we stopped promoting our successes. We kind of just do a half-hearted social media post when we sold the property. If you do the magic buyer letter strategy and you make the phone calls, you post to social media, you send the mailer, and you help your buyer find an off-market listing and you get a few listings, that is what we call a marketable moment.
Yes.
So what I would do is I would take that success story and I would mail that to my entire farm. And here's the headline I would use, Tom. If the only reason you haven't sold your house is because you haven't found a new home to move into, I've got some good news for you. And then I would tell the story of how I help my buyers source off-market listings. And so this concept of turning a magic buyer letter into a social media post, a video campaign, a call campaign, and then a larger farmer campaign. This is how you go from good to great in this market, my friend.
And I would just piggyback on that. If you use what we talked about in Jacksonville not too long ago, stats, story, and an example, right? If you share the stats, and you and I have talked about this a bunch, for my friend that's watching, I say all the time, a just sold card is the single worst marketing on the planet. But if you tell me a story and you share some data, some stats, if you said, we spent 45 days preparing this home before we previewed it to the market. In the initial preview, we had 97 couples come through. We had 83 real estate agents walk through the property. We had 11,500 views on Zillow and Instagram, whatever it is. You share all the data that makes the person go, wow, this person worked hard, did a lot of marketing, and the results of all this data, the results of all this, and then you tell the story, right? You could do the same exact thing for, hey, I started working with this couple. They were desperate to live in this community. And if you know this community, you know that properties typically sell in 5, 7, 10, 15 days, weeks, whatever the time is. And we know that there's only been one home that is sold in this community in the last 18 months. So when they reached out and said, Tom, could you help me find a home in this market? Here was the plan that I executed. I did this, Tom, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. This goes back to the world famous, Tim Smith, who you work with matters, right? And the agent you hire today, if you're a buyer in the market where there is no inventory, who you work with matters, because the vast majority of agents, I wouldn't put this in the marketing, but the vast majority of their agents are going to wait for somebody else to list the house in the MLS, but not people like you, my friend watching, not people like you. We're going to go out and we're going to use these campaigns. We're going to do the work. We're going to help our customers get a home. Jimmy, closing thoughts.
Well, Tom, you reminded me of one of my favorite quotes, and this is something that I try to live by, is if you want to get something done, give it to a busy person.
That's it.
And what we're talking about right now is that by demonstrating the fact that you're in the market, you're working, you're going to attract people who want to work with you. It's the basic idea is show the sweat. You guys are out there working, show the sweat.
That's right. Well, thank you so much. And for my friend watching right now, I would love a comment. I would love to know if you've used campaigns like this. I'd also love to know what's a campaign you would like us to show you on a show or on a podcast soon. So leave some comments, share this with some friends. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, always your strategy matters. And now more than ever, your ability to market yourself. That's what rules the day. We'll see you on the next show. Take care. Hey, if you like this content, make sure you get back to my channel and check out Jason Pantana, This Week in Marketing, the Tom Ferry Podcast Experience, and of course, Mindset Monday.